This morning, I'm going to be sharing a little bit about some of the difficulties of becoming an inbound closer. The biggest thing is having a conversation with the person on the phone, your tonality. One can never emphasize this enough. You have to have tonality. So how do you practice that? I think you can practice it in your everyday life. In your conversations, maybe when you're buying a cup of coffee, maybe you're at a restaurant, maybe you're talking with your spouse on a road trip, maybe you're talking with your kids, talking to your dog, although that sounds a little bit crazy. But if you can master tonality, inflections at the right time, and honestly open your ears to listening to the other person on the other side of the conversation, you have a chance of doing something great. The hardest part is reading a script and not listening. You have to do kind of two things. You have to use your script to keep you along the straight and narrow so that you don't miss asking any questions. But at the same time, you have to listen for words like, maybe the person says something like, "Now my work is a little bit of a grind." That word grind means different things to different people. But there's a reason why that person said grind. Stress, working overtime, double time. I don't get to see my kids. They're not going to come out and say, "My job is shit. I hate it. I want to replace my 9-to-5 income with something better. That's why I'm coming to you. What do you got for me?" They're not going to say that. What they're going to do is they're going to be resistant at the beginning. So you have to be able to build up a bit of rapport. Doesn't have to take long, 10, 15 seconds. But you have to have some kind of a connection with the person on the phone so that you can start having a conversation and it becomes fluid. I know there was times when I was in jiu-jitsu and we would do kind of a warm-up. They call it swimming. We would do that in wrestling too. I used to be a high school wrestler. But you would basically, you grab the person and then you just bring your arm inside underneath their armpit and then you go, and then the other side, and you just do this back and forth. And you basically smack shoulders together, but it's real fluid, back and forth, boom, boom, boom. The reason you do that is just to get comfortable jockeying for position and making it natural. Same thing when you're lying on your back and the person goes cross mount, side mount control on you. You turn to your side and you're practicing rolling. Like I told my son, like he's joining a jiu-jitsu club, I said, if I were you, I would focus all my time not worrying about tapping people out, because he's pretty strong. I said I would focus the majority of my time getting my cardio up. So how do you do that? Defense. You defend. You let them try and put chokeholds, knee bars, ankle locks. Like you don't let them sink it in because you're going to be in trouble. And you don't let them sink the chokeholds and that. You counter it. But you put yourself in a position where you're constantly working at defense until your cardio gets up to a place where you can start thinking clearly. Because it doesn't matter how many techniques you know in jiu-jitsu. If you don't have cardio, if you can't do over 50 push-ups, it's going to be very tough to last 5 minutes with a guy that's equally strong with you, equally as strong as you, and is a little bit more skilled. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very difficult. So I told him, get your cardio up. And he's in pretty good shape. You know, he works out all the time, all that kind of stuff, lifting weights. But even that is different muscles. So if you're used to lifting weights, and I used to beat on guys that they were just huge. Some of them were on roids, some weren't. But you could do shoulder locks on the guys that can bench 300 pounds plus. So easy to do a shoulder lock on them because their shoulders are always tight because of all their benching, and my shoulders used to be really flexible. So if I got put in a pickle, I could still, no matter how hard they torqued on it, if it was a Kimura or something, you can roll out of it because you had some flexibility. But that only comes when you're putting yourself in a position where your life is on the line or your life is being threatened over and over again. Now you know where your ceiling is. If you've been choked out or if you've been in a rear naked choke, you know what I mean, because you get pushed to the edge. You either black out or you tap out. There's no other option. So in sales, in selling, you have to go over your script hundreds of times. It's like swimming. Repetition. And then you have to do role plays. You have to put yourself in a position to handle objections, almost as though somebody is trying to put you in a submission hold. So you have to do that numerous times so that by the time you get onto an actual phone call, it's a conversation. And now, like if I go to jiu-jitsu, I can be relaxed, even though my cardio isn't up. But I can relax because I've been pushed to the limit by UFC fighters, guys that were actually in the UFC that have pushed me to the brink, even though I'm a blue belt. But then you go and spar against somebody that's a blue belt or less, or even a purple belt, brown belt, because you've been pushed to the limit by some of these other guys. This is not a big deal because you've been with the best. So when you go against somebody that's brand new, stronger, whatever it is, you're so relaxed because you've been to the brink and back. It's easy. So in sales calls, once you start closing calls and you're making, like you're closing deals and your ratio starts to climb because now you're able to track it, you become more relaxed. You get comfortable with your script. You become more relaxed. And now you can listen to what someone is saying. Oops, I don't know why my nose is running this morning. It's not COVID. I promise you, it's not COVID. I'll be so happy when we don't have to talk about COVID anymore. Honestly, I'll be so happy. So anyways, hope this helps someone out there. Because like I said at the beginning, it's not easy to become an inbound closer. But once you get all the skills and you could start having conversations with prospects, clients, your world really opens up to you now, because you're not afraid to have any conversation with anyone, because now you know where you can actually take the conversation. So that's it for today's video. Hope that helps. Hope I did not ramble too much. Sometimes I ramble a little bit. I apologize for that. But if you got something out of this, let me know. like the video, subscribe if you like this type of video. Let me know that as well in the comments. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching.